How can you be more intentional this holiday season and even make it a little bit more magical? The past few weeks, I have been sharing emotional freedom technique tap-alongs to help you navigate and clear away some of the holiday stress, like going over budget or the fear of gaining weight. And we have a lot more coming in the next month. But since we already cleared away some of that stress, I wanted to give you some tips to help make this holiday season memorable for all of the right reasons. So my first tip for having a more intentional holiday season is to set an intention. I know it is such a simple one, it kind of sounds cliche, but have you set one yet for this year? It can be just a word or a phrase that describes what your main focus is this season. And if you're like me, you can write it down in your handy dandy journal, or you could get an ornament with the word or the phrase on it, or even just make it a reminder in your phone to keep going back to that intention. And if you're struggling to figure out what you want your intention to be, I have two questions you can ask yourself. The first one being, what made the holidays most memorable for you as a kid? Most likely, those are things you're going to want to repeat this year to have it be magical and memorable with your loved ones. And the second question for you is, what emotion do you want to feel more of this season? Maybe it's peace or joy. For me personally, my intention is I want to be more present. Between running an online business and sharing so much of our life on social media, I can tend to be more focused on my phone than I am with the people around me. So this season, I'm really focusing on being in the moment and having that really quality time together. And anything that doesn't fit that intention, I'm gonna put to the side. Which brings me to my second tip for a more intentional holiday season. Set boundaries. It is absolutely impossible to do every single thing this holiday season, and we can make ourselves really overwhelmed and stressed trying to do it all. So I want to remind you that it's okay to set boundaries. Do things differently, say no to certain opportunities, and delegate or rearrange things so they work better for you and match that intention. And hopefully whoever you are setting these boundaries with or changing plans with might even be inspired to honor their own intentions and their own goals for this holiday season. On to tip number 3, make it personalized. Whether that is decorations or gifts or recipes, it's a beautiful way to add a little special touch and make it your own. And just for example, this time of year, people go all out decorating your homes, and this is your permission slip to do that however you want. For my wife and I, we absolutely love Disney, and this time of year, it kind of explodes in our house. Almost around every corner is a hidden Mickey, and I think there's even a few in this frame. So if you see any hidden Mickeys, comment them below. But it goes so much deeper than just decorations. You could personalize and DIY even gifts for people. Some of my most cherished and loved presents have been made by somebody that I love, and it really just adds a special touch to the holidays. So I will leave my Pinterest board below with tons of ideas for DIY decorations, gifts, and stuff of the sort, so that way you can decide what you want to craft this year and make it your own. Which takes me into tip number 4, is to make new traditions for yourself. So this could be one of them. If you're a crafty person, you could start a tradition of making crafts together as a family, or making gingerbread houses as a family, or baking cookies together. Whatever traditions that you've seen maybe in a Hallmark movie that you want to start, like ice skating or building a snowman or taking a vacation somewhere in particular, feel free to start it this year. That's the beauty of being an adult and growing up. You get to decide how the holidays look for you. And maybe you have a tradition from your childhood that you really enjoyed that you kind of lost for a while. This could be a really good opportunity in the perfect year to bring that back and have some of that nostalgia. And lastly, tip number 5 is to look up the history of all of these holidays. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Yule, New Year's, they are full of beautiful stories and symbolism. And at the beginning, when they started centuries and centuries ago, were so intentional with every single thing they did. For example, do you know the history of Christmas trees? It was around the 4th century they believe they began, but pagans used to bring them inside of their house because pine and evergreen are symbols of eternal life and longevity, which was a big focus and concern over the winter back then. And the reason we put lights on it used to be candles. Thank goodness we have LEDs now, which are so much safer. But the candles symbolized our return to light because they brought them in around the time of the winter solstice, where we started going from the darkest days back to brighter days as the sun came out more. And there are tons and tons of stories in history like this around a bunch of different things, like Yule logs and snowmen, Santa, stockings, ornaments. All of these things that we do every single year have so much intention behind them. So do a little bit of Google searching, see what comes up, and decide if this is a tradition you want to continue in your home, first off, but also take that moment to be mindful why you are doing it and really understand the meaning behind it. So those are all of my 5 tips to make this holiday season just a little bit more intentional and magical. I would absolutely love to hear in the comments what your intention is and also any other tips you're going to use. As I tell my clients, take what you love, leave what you don't, but try everything at least once. So I hope you try a few things from this video, and I will see you next week for our usual emotional freedom technique tapping on another holiday stress.